All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Yeah. All power to the black community. All power to Africans. Africa for the Africans.
Black power.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party for organizing this beautiful day. We also would like to salute all the vendors that are out here in the rain, because we know that the rain don't stop African power. So salute to you. My name is Brother Tommy Joshua from the Philly Peace Park. I want to do two things briefly today in my talk with you. I want to first talk a bit about the Philly Peace Park, and then I want to give a strong salute to the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party. The Philly Peace Park is a new African revolutionary land-based movement. Our position is, within the black communities of Philadelphia, we must carry out a thorough land-based revolution through a revolutionary democratic perspective. The land must be owned by the black people in the black community. The buildings must be owned by black people in the black community. The economy within the black community must be owned and controlled by the black community. The security within the black community must be owned and controlled by the black community. We must, as African people, build a future for ourselves, self-determination in the local black community. How do we do this? We do this through mobilization, organization, and confrontation with the colonial system. We recognize that the fundamental contradiction of black people is that we are held under a system of national oppression. We are a nation of people held captive here in North America, here in Philadelphia, here all over this country, and all over the world. And on the continent of Africa itself, it is the wicked system of imperialism that seeks to dominate the black community through its military forces, through its economic forces, through its political forces, and through its decadent cultural influence. We say that black people, under the leadership of its working class, must rise up and seize the land, seize the buildings, seize the system, overthrow the old colonial system, and build a new system in which we can secure a future for ourselves. So in Philadelphia, the Philly Peace Park is seizing the vacant land within the black community in North Philly, in West Philly, in Germantown. We are also on this land instituting a new system of community-controlled agriculture. We are forming co-ops. We are also building political assemblies in which we can govern our communities ourselves. We are also developing security forces to replace and to displace the murderous colonial police. Only through self-determination, only through anti-colonialism, only through national liberation from imperialism can black people build the future. We ask that you continue to support us in these efforts. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, introduce the Peace Park and our struggle. Now I want to talk about, and I want to give props and I want to give strong solidarity to the Uhuru movement and to the African People's Socialist Party. Can y'all give it up for this organization and give it up for this movement? I want to bear witness that the foremost revolutionary organization in North America serving black people from the 60s through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, up until this time, has been the African People's Socialist Party. And I also want to bear witness that Omali Yeshitela, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, is the chairman of the Vanguard Party, but he's also our chairman. And I want to bear witness that the chairman has forces inside the party, and he also has forces outside the party. So I want y'all to know that the Philly Peace Park stands in strong solidarity with the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party. I want to point out the significance of Chairman Omali Yeshitela's service to us, his leadership and his guidance. As a young African, I was a member of the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa, and I was tasked to organize here in Philadelphia a bus to attend the Jericho protests in Washington, D.C. As a young cadre, as a young revolutionary just finding my way, I was so fortunate to be handed a burning spear. I was so fortunate to be handed a burning spear magazine, newspaper. And when I opened up this newspaper, I seen something that I haven't seen. Yes, I studied Malcolm. Yes, I studied the Black Panther Party. Yes, I read about the history of revolution in the 60s and revolution in the 70s, but I did not know that there were still revolutionary forces. It was still people giving analysis to the struggle. It was still revolutionary groups building institutions. That was what the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement was doing. From that day, I became a student of Omali Yeshitela, and I became an avid reader of the Burning Spear magazine. It was Omali Yeshitela, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, that opened up our eyes as young revolutionaries to how the Black Revolution was defeated militarily. Prior to that, we have not heard that analysis. Nobody has summed up what really happened. When we read a book, a pamphlet called Dialectics of the Black Revolution, it blew our mind. We was like, wow. Yes, we had read the biographies, and that's an old school. That's an old school right there, Dialectics of the Black Revolution. Yep. Yes, we read the biographies of the Panthers. Yes, we read about SNCC, but we have not yet heard a scientific analysis of just what happened. As young revolutionaries, the white socialist groups preyed upon us, me and my comrades. The Trotskyites came down and got at us with their militant. They invited me out to speak at the labor forum. I didn't know what I was getting into. I went down there and spoke. Yeah. I seen they had the Malcolm X books. I said, well, it can't be that bad. Yeah. But it was Chairman Omali Yeshitela and his analysis that saved us from the white Marxist left. He allowed us to understand Marx in a principled way. It was Omali Yeshitela and his analysis that went to Marx and brought out primitive accumulation. He brought out and clarified that it was the assault on Africa. It was the assault and the genocide against indigenous people. It was enslaving New African people in North America in the general colonial system that allowed them to build up imperialism, that allowed them to build up capitalism. And he also clarified, until we deal with the foundational contradiction, which is the colonial contradiction, all that talk about workers' liberation and all that talk about socialism and all that talk about the unity of the working class means nothing. And that was Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Great theoretical work. We also continue to study, continue to be fed. This is back in the day, man, so we sought out, we wrote to St. Petersburg. We attended the Uhuru movement events here in Philadelphia. It was the Uhuru House that allowed us, as young followers of Malcolm, young followers of the Panthers, trying to find our way, our youth groups, they opened up their doors to us. They allowed us to have hip-hop open mics. We learned organizing from the Uhuru movement. Many days we pound the concrete, learning and organizing with the Uhuru movement, studying the works of Chairman Omali Yeshitela, getting a proper orientation. So on this day, I am honored to be here among the comrades of the Uhuru movement. And I told myself I want to give strong props to the African People's Socialist Party and to the Uhuru movement for being the foremost revolutionary organization among our people, and we will be forever indebted to the works, to the sacrifice of the comrades of that organization, and just know that we love y'all, we support y'all. Last thing I want to mention is I want to strongly denounce the U.S. government attack against the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement. The The only reason why they're attacking the Uhuru movement is because the Uhuru movement has been a brick road. They have been a firm foundation based on stones, going back to the 60s, coming up to this day. They have been an organization that has kept the ideals of revolution alive in this country. They have been one of the few forces that has been talking about the fact that we need power. We don't need representation. We don't need visibility. We don't need you to like us more. We don't need for you to give us handouts. We need power. We need power in the form of a government for ourselves. When I'm talking about African people and all oppressed people, Omali Yeshitela and the Uhuru movement has been clear on that. The U.S. government right now is trying to frame them on bogus charges, desperate charges, under the framework that they are some sort of Russian agents. Isn't that absurd? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that a desperate plea? We know doggone well that the Uhuru movement and the work of the African People's Socialist Party comes out of the deep aspirations, the pain, the struggle of black people, of African people here in North America and all over the world. Nobody don't need no Russians to tell us that we need reparations. Nobody don't need no Russians to tell us to organize. The Russians can't give us nothing for that. They don't got enough money to do that. They don't got enough power to do that. We don't get down like that. So we denounce that, and we know for a fact that the people and that the revolutionaries and that the Africans will beat that back. So we say victory to the Uhuru movement, victory to the African People's Socialist Party, down with the repression against the movement, and we encourage all of you to stand in solidarity with the African People's Socialist Party, to back them, to give them political support, to donate to their funds, and to join the Uhuru movement, and to join the African People's Socialist Party, so that we together can hasten the down of this system and the rise of a new system, a system free from colonizers, a system free from terrorists, a system free from exploiters. What we need, brothers and sisters, we need organization. And we need organization that's on some revolutionary stuff. That means the organization understands that the only way we're going to get anything cracking is we're going to have to confront our enemies, we're going to have to confront the conditions, and we're going to have to organize a new power. We need a new system. So anytime anybody talk to any of y'all about any of the problems faced by our people, you say, yeah, I hear all of that. That's why we need a revolution. We need a new system. We need to be independent as a people. That's what you're going to say. That's the message of the Uhuru movement. That's the message of the African People's Socialist Party. That's the message of the Philly Peace Party. I would like to just thank y'all for listening. Once again, salute to Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Salute to the cadre of the African People's Socialist Party. Salute to the Uhuru movement. Together we will win. I say free the land. Africa for the Africans, world revolution, self-determination, freedom for the black nation, y'all. Let's get free. I love y'all. Peace.